Hey everybody. So we are going to work with human body proportions today. And so what I would like is for you to either get a ruler or you can use something like a quarter. What I am going to do is to create marks in my sketchbook, or you can do this on a sheet of paper, that are 8 spaces, and I'm marking the tops and the bottoms for each of these 8 spaces. If you do not have a ruler handy, a quarter is the same size as an inch, which can be something that you can just make the marks on both sides. It can work the same way. And so anyways, just wanted to mention that you can use other resources if you don't happen to have a ruler. Okay, I am going to extend these lines out towards the edge of the paper, and I am only placing one mark because it doesn't matter as much for this drawing if my lines aren't totally level. So I'm just eyeballing this, and I'm trying to see that my ruler is level, but it's okay if it's like slightly off. What I would like for you guys to do is to go ahead and do this as well, something similar. You're going to need to have 8 spaces on your page that are equally separated. You're going to also draw your lines on and extend them all the way to the edge. Okay. One more. All right, what I'm going to do now is I am going to number these just for myself. You might want to do this, you might not. It is up to you. Okay, but for our human body proportions, we have divided our body into 8 equal spaces, and each of these spaces is about 1 head height. Okay, so what that means is that if you stacked 8 heads on top of each other, what you're going to end up with is like a normal proportion for an adult human. We say normal kind of loosely because obviously everybody has much different body proportions. That's just how it is. So anyways, but we'll go with this as a general rule for proportion. The neck is going to be about half of the length of the next mark. I'll make a note of that. The neck is half the length or half the height of the head. Okay, and then we're going to place our shoulders. So the shoulders for, let's say, this typical human. Well, first of all, I hope that a typical human shoulders connect to their neck. Otherwise, what's the point? All right, let's try that again. There we go. So we have our shoulders. What I want to point out about the shoulders is that if you measure the width of the head, the shoulders will be about twice the width. Okay, and okay, so we make a note that our shoulders are here. What I also want for us to consider is the rib cage. So your rib cage is going to come down until about the bottom of this 3rd line. And I normally just draw this as like kind of like an egg, an upside down egg. Not too complicated, because what I am just wanting to do is to recognize, all right, this is about how tall this part of the chest is, right? When you are continuing this drawing, your work will come down to about here, halfway between 4 and 5, or sorry, like in the middle of number 4. And what I'm going to do now is place my pelvis here. Okay, so my pelvis is like that. You can draw this how you want. I'll probably just draw it as a rectangle and just do that. All right, so you have your hips, your pelvis. This is what you want to keep in mind that most of the motion in your body is going to come from the shoulders and from the legs. So this part of the body, the head, the torso, and the hips, they're pretty stable. Something else that's good to remember about the body is that your back for a large part of it, it's really just the spine that's there. And so you don't have as much of the structure like kind of around where the belly is. Okay, let's continue. And before we get too far, let's place the arms. For the top half of the arm, you're gonna draw until about the bottom of number 3. And this is where your elbow lives. Again, this is a joint, so a place where things will, express motion. And then let's finish the lower half of the arm. Okay, we're gonna draw this until the bottom of number 4, and then the hands will be about as long as halfway between number 5. Going halfway down. Okay. So we have this idea. What we're doing, keeping in mind, is not exactly drawing people in motion yet, but just getting an idea of how big things are in relation to one another, right? When we are drawing, your legs are going to take up almost half of your body. So we're going to draw the femurs or the thighs until about the bottom of number 6, top of number 7, and we'll place the knees here. Ready? And then what we're going to do is to just draw the lower part of the leg all the way down to the bottom. And this is where your feet live, and you can draw them just outward at this point.